I hope this one works because okay, it should show me as connected and everything now. I know, third time's the charm. I hope so. Okay, awesome. I really don't know what's happening. This is Time Warner Internet at its finest, y'all. Time Warner Internet and a 7-year-old that has decided that if he doesn't get to have internet, then nobody in the house gets to have internet. So he's got a long week ahead of him. Okay, hopefully everything gets logged back in. I'm gonna wait just a little bit to see if Demaya and them can get on over here. I'm so sorry, you guys. This is just like a crazy back and forth. Kiara! Oh my gosh! Hey, girl. So glad to see you are able to get on. Now my coffee is cold. Not even warm. Alrighty, I'm waiting on one more person to get back in. So then that way everyone can be back over here. I'm so sorry for the confusion, you guys. This is just one of the many joys of having technology around now. So awesome. Okay, awesome. I'm glad to see that you guys are able to make it back over. The poor nail techs are probably like, what is going on? I can hear the little one that I live with. He like unplugged the internet cord to the big box, so it shut the internet down. And his timeout corner is like right outside this room, and I can hear him. This is just not fair. Anybody else's children do this? Anybody else's? I'm waiting to see if Valeria is able to get back on over here. I hope they are able to find their way over here. I should that other stream. Okay, awesome, Kimberly. I'm glad to see that you made it back over here. Hopefully. Okay, awesome. Yes, you guys are making it back on over here. Great. I'm so sorry about that. I just can't win today. If it happens one more time, what I will do is I will send an assignment out or send something out for you guys to do to get your credit for this. And then you guys can just submit it to me tonight. So if that does happen, we will. It's not you. It was happening last lecture too. I wonder if YouTube is maybe just completely overriding or overridden right now from everything. Also, I'm watching YouTube on my phone now, and I did not know that it literally cuts me off right here. Gosh, sorry about that, guys. I should have been sitting up a little more proper for you. But thank you guys. Thank you guys for being so understanding and everything. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get into it. So then that way you guys can at least get to see everything in case we do get separated once again. So, okay, so like I said, I'm going to be performing the tip application service and the nail enhancement service with a form. So the only one that you are actually building out an actual nail on is on the form. On the tip application, all you are doing is prepping your nail and then attaching a tip, clipping it down, filing it to the shape you would like, cleaning up, and that's it. That's all you have to do. And mending to the natural nail. So it's nothing too wild. Now at Board Nail Techs, they're not going to ask you to do any like crazy shaping or anything. They want you to do shaping that is natural to the nail. So don't go in there and do a nice long stiletto nail by any means, because A, that's going to take you a little bit longer to sculpt and such. And B, you don't want to show that off. Just show a very natural looking nail, nice and smooth. My suggestion is to bring clear because it is going to show less imperfections on your nails. So maybe if you just like, maybe you have a little bit, you flooded the cuticle a little bit too much, you didn't like wiggle it down in there or anything. The clear is going to keep from showing a big lump or anything like as whereas if you had white or maybe even a colored acrylic, I believe you can't even bring a colored acrylic, but you'll be able to see all of the ridges and the bumps just from looking at the nail from the eye view. So with the clear, it's a little bit harder to pick out all of the little things that may have gone wrong, and you're able to hide your mistakes a little bit better. So a little trick for you guys out there. Alrighty. So in your tip application service of one nail, so one singular nail is all you have to do on this tip application. You are going to have 12 minutes to apply a tip to one finger. You will have 12 minutes to complete this section, and you will be informed when you have 6 minutes remaining. So 6 minutes remaining is how long you'll have. There's my neighbor. Yeah, I think my neighbor and his wife might be getting separated. IDK, that's the tea. Her car hasn't been home in like 3 or 4 days, but that's just me. I'm nosy. Okay, so let me move my coffee cup for you guys. So this is my tip application service bag right here. I know it's a little bit hard to see because the towel is in there. So it says right on there, tip application service on here. And then I have everything that I need for this service to complete it all. And then I just have my other bags over here. So let me put these off to the side for you guys. Alrighty. So after you perform your manicure portion of your exam, then you are going to be completing the tip application as well. So your table is going to be nice and clean. You will have this bag out onto your table, and then you are going to have your hand gel sanitizer and your EPA again. So like I said, Gracie did point out something very nice for you guys. That she was stating that you can look on the websites like OPI, Tammy Taylor and stuff, and usually they have some form of like an antiseptic or a disinfectant, something along those lines. So, since it's a little bit harder for us to get our hands on such things right now, like hand sanitizer and such, she said, look for the foam hand sanitizer as well. There's tons of options out there that you guys should be able to come across. So hopefully that helps some of you out. I know it's a little bit stressful trying to figure out, oh my gosh, where am I going to find hand sanitizer that's not $20 anymore and stuff like that. So, but you guys, you will have your bag already out onto your table and everything. You have your EPA and your hand sanitizer off to the side. So they are going to say, please apply a tip to one finger. You have 12 minutes to complete this service, and you will be informed when you have 6 minutes remaining. You may begin. So I'm going to take my hand sanitizer. Oof, quite a lot. I didn't need that much. sanitize my hands. I'm going to grab my bag and I'm going to spray my table with EPA. Because, like I said, they're looking to make sure that you guys are keeping a nice, clean, safe work environment. And then, of course, I have my bag that has all of my paper towels in it that remains on my station at all times. So I'm going to take that, dispose of, I'm going to wipe everything down. Go ahead and make sure I move my bottles and such. Want to sanitize everything and then discard into the trash can and sanitize my hands one more time since I touched the trash can. So there is no time to waste on this, you guys. 12 minutes, 12 minutes. Alrighty, so in my bag, what's in that bag? What's in that bag? Alrighty, so of course I had my bag that said tip application service. I'm gonna go ahead and just discard this in there. I did not touch the trash can, so we're gonna be a-okay. So my tips are flying everywhere. Okay, so here's my towel. I'm gonna go ahead and lay my towel down. I have 2 files, my nail glue, and then you guys, before I went in, I decided to go ahead and pre-fit a couple of different tips, so that way I can decide which one I like best, because you know sometimes you look at a tip and you're like, oh yeah, that's the one, and then you like go the next size up and you're like, oh no, that's the perfect one. So I decided, I think I did a 2 and a 3 on here. Yeah, 2 and a, so I did a 2 and a 3, and I packed 2 just because you know, sometimes when we're using tips, you know, they just don't stick how we would like them to, and such like that. So definitely make sure that you pack a couple, and then plus, then that way if you drop one, you have a backup one as well. And then I do have my tip cutter as well. However, my tip cutter is packaged separately from everything else because it's a metal implement on the ends. I just wrote on the bag that it is pre-sanitized, disinfected implements in here. So I can go ahead and I can remove my tip cutter out and then discard into my trash can, and I'm going to go ahead and sanitize my hands and my model's hands. So sanitize my own, bring my homegirl over here, sanitize her hands. And like I said, they're making sure that you guys are just keeping the safety criteria throughout the whole work environment. So definitely don't worry about anything. And then the last thing that I forgot is the paper towel. So I have the towel down, and then I have a paper towel down on top of it to show that I'm keeping extreme safety measures at all times. Alrighty. So the first thing that, of course, you're going to want to do is you're going to want to rough up this nail plate some, because you can't really attach the nail to very much in there. So I just have my file. This is, I believe, a 100-180 grit. They're pretty decent files. They are just about a one-time use only, though. I'm going to discard of my plastic. I'm just going to touch it on in there. I'm not touching the trash can by any means, or the trash bag at all. So I'm going to go ahead. Ooh, I think I did for the middle finger again. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and we want to rough up this surface because we need something for the nail to attach to, right? Now, the thing with this mannequin hand is that it is very, very shiny. So I do have to do quite a bit of roughing on the natural surface to get rid of that shine and to make sure that everything is good. So I'm just filing away. Now, I wouldn't be too concerned about removing the shine all the way down to the cuticle of the nail. I would just maybe do about the free edge. Now, if you guys, I would just go down, right down to the cuticle and just show that you do know the step of how to remove the shine from down around there. Flip my file around. Alrighty. So even on the edges, on these little plastic fingers, I would go ahead and make sure that you are roughing that surface up around there too as well. So then that way you guys are able to completely attach this tip and not be concerned about it falling off as you're trying to shape it into something. So I just have my nail here. It's nice. I got rid of most of my natural shine on here. I'm going to do a little bit more down here in the cuticle area. Alrighty, so Travis County stay-at-home order was just extended. Ooh, I don't have to say about that. I'll look that up in a minute. Okay, so here's my nice. I've completely gotten rid of all of the shine on the nail bed and such. So now I'm going to open up my nail glue. I hope this opens. I didn't test it out before. Okay, awesome. So I have just a little brush thing for my application of my nail glue. Now, if you guys want to bring the nail glue that has the tip on the end and you just cut the tip off, you are more than welcome to bring that. However, the most important part that you want to make sure is that when you are putting the glue onto the nail tip, that you want to make sure that that tip is not touching onto the actual nail tip. You want to just be dropping the nail glue right on there and then just letting it spread like so. So since I have the little brush applicator, it's okay, no big deal. Alrighty, so I'm going to check out my nail tips. I'm going to find out which one. So this one is extremely too big. It hangs over on the edges and such. I wish I could show you guys. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to go ahead. I think this is the same size. This is a 3. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead, since these are plastic and it is so hard to get these tips to stay on these nail beds, my suggestion is go ahead and take this file and we're going to rough on the inside of this nail tip. This is going to give it a little bit more grip for us to attach this nail onto. So I'm just getting all of that smoothness out. Alrighty, so now I'm going in with my nail glue. Just going to apply like so. I would be pretty heavy on the nail glue because these tips do not like to these tips do not like to stay onto the finger. So another good thing that you guys want to be making sure that you're paying attention to is you want to make sure that the nail glue you have is a fast drying nail glue. You don't want to have a nail glue that is going to take upwards of 3 to 5 minutes to dry. You want to make sure that it can dry instant. So I'm just going to hold this here. I kind of have to press rather hard, making sure I have the sides all stuck down. And see, it's already coming up. So let's go ahead. We're going to go back in with just a little bit more. The biggest thing is make sure you guys are making sure that you are working effectively. So don't be lollygagging. And my finger's just going all over the place. Okay, so my first tip is not really taking off too well. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go in with my second one. Roughing up the inside again. The KDS nails. Yes, I love that one. This is the IBD one. It's not my favorite. I just feel like this nail glue has no grip to it. Like it just does not work out that well in the long run. Okay, so let's go ahead. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I'm having a struggle bus with this too. So if you guys see how I'm, even though like the Kiss nail glue gets clumpy, yes, and the Kiss nail glue, like I've found, you know, even though they claim it's perfectly fine and nothing, like it doesn't take, that it will last as long as you put the lid on there. Lies, lies, lies. They do not last that long. You have to, wait and wait and wait, or you have to like use it within like a week or so before it becomes all nasty and gross. So I'm almost positive my thing is dry. We're all on here. Okay, so now once you have attached the tip, all you have to do is trim the nail down and then file and shape. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to take too terribly much off, but I am, I'll go about halfway down. There we go. So I want to make sure that it's all completely straight on here. Perfect. Okay, so remember we want to do our back and forth motions here. We don't want to seesaw, so we want to make sure that we are shaping in with the sides. And my tip did not glue down very well onto the side over here. So I'm gonna just have to wing it. And my tip completely came off. So since it came off completely, I would just let it go ahead and come back on. All right, 10 out of 10 for you nail techs. I would not recommend this finger, nor would I recommend this glue for you guys to take. So we're going in, we're waiting, since I'm going to have to completely wait for this to detach. So before you guys go, I would totally suggest checking out, making sure and seeing how well your nail tip works on with your finger. Like, are you going to be able to attach? Does your glue dry fast enough for your liking? All of those things are what you want to be looking at on there. All right, so like I said, we're going and we're filing to the sides, and my nail tip just will not stay on. We're just struggle bussing a little bit, guys. just a little bit over here. I should have done a little bit smaller of a tip on here. This one's a little bit big for it. I'm going to draw up a little bit. For the sake of your video, do not do that at State Board. Okay. Now I believe my nail tip will stay on, and if it doesn't, then we'll just restart. We're going to just restart this whole thing over. All the way over. I'll just repack my bag from the beginning. Act like none of this happened. Okay, you guys, we're just restarting here because this is just a hot mess. So, for those of you that are joining us on here, what has happened so far is I have already completely formed my tip and such, or I've completely roughed the surface of my nail, so then that way I can attach a tip on here. Let me see where all my tips are. Sorry, y'all. This is not great for me right now. Okay, so we have a brand new tip. What would I go back and change? I would prepare for this a lot better. I would have checked out my mannequin hand beforehand to make sure that my tips and forms went over very well with this. Okay. So now that I have my new nail tip, I have my glue open, I'm going to go ahead and rough up my nail tip now. If we were here from 11 to 12, can I go ahead? Yes, correct. So if you chose to do 11 to 12 instead of 12 to 1, that's perfectly fine. And then before I do this, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to file away some of this nail glue that I've already put on here. All right. We should be in business now, y'all. Nail techs, you guys are staying on for this whole hour. You guys are supposed to be staying on for this whole hour. So glad to have all of you here. Hello, hello. I am going over the nail tech stuff with the nail techs, guys. So I am just attaching my form right now for my form. I'm attaching my tip right now for everything. Yes, Estes and Cosmos only need to stay on for an hour. Nail techs, this is your theory hour. So you guys need to stay on until 1, and then you guys will be done. So now that my tip is on here, she's good. We have fixed all of our problems in this world. JK. Now I'm going to be trimming it all down. I'm gonna go a little bit shorter than that. Alrighty. So everything is good. Okay, so now what you guys have to do is you just have to shape the nail and mend the tip to the natural nail. So I'm just going to shape on inwards. I'm just going to go for a rounded square, look very natural to the nail shape. So then that way they know that everything is wonderful. Awesome. Have a wonderful afternoon, Kimberly. So once I've filed down my sides and such, and I have everything as proportionate as I would like it, I need to go a little bit further inwards on this side. You know those clients that like their nails like super, super square? This is how I feel it is. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope all is great for you guys. Alrighty, so I'm just rounding out my corners because I don't want to have super, super pokey corners anywhere. So now that I have a nice shape to my nail and such, I'm going to take and mend my tip with a natural nail. Since this is a plastic nail, it's not as hard as it is on an actual human finger because there is such a difference between the actual tip and the nail bed. So I'm just tapering it on down. Mending as best as possible. Now, you are not going to receive a completely smooth and nice gap between these two, but as you can look on the nail, you can see that the big bump between the two is gone, and that I have all of this extra underneath here. I did not see all of that. So I'm just mending these two together because then that way, if you were to build this out with acrylic and such, it's going to end up leaving with a big arch of the nail. And we do not want to have that all over. All right, you guys. So I have now mended everything. I think it is up to my liking. I'm going to get my little bit of buildup off under here. Alrighty. So here is my nail tip right here for you guys. I've attached the nail, I've mended everything, so if I'm all done, then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to close my nail glue and such, and I'm going to dispose of everything. So all of my stuff is going into the trash can. Let me open up my trash can over here. Dispose. Even though I didn't use my second nail file, I'm still going to dispose of it because I want to clean up everything. So into the trash can that goes. Sanitize my hands. Then I'm going to spray my table with my EPA again. Reach into my bag for all that has all of my paper towels in it. Grab myself a paper towel out. Wipe down. Discard my paper towel. Sanitize one more time. And then raise my hand to be graded. Now, as you guys saw, I struggled a lot with that first tip on there. It was not going how I was liking it. So I would definitely, before you go, are we going to start a new nail after? So after this is all you have to do. Like, you just have to do the tip, attach the tip and mend the two. Side shape it, buff it out and everything, and that's it. Because after this, you'll do a completely new nail with a form on there. So you have the first one, which is just the tip application, and then you have your second one, which is your nail application. Or the actual sculpting of your nail. And you're doing that from a form. Does that make sense? I know it was a little confusing. I had to get a different tip on there because the one that I had was just not cutting it. I was in the first hour, just confused. That's what we were doing. So Ava, if you are a Cosmo and you want to receive the 12-to-1 credit, which is the extra hour for today, you are coming on to watch this live stream. This live stream is for the nail techs. So it might be just a little bit confusing as to what everything is going on. So I was just finishing up from my previous thing. We've been going since 11 o'clock today for all of our, for everything. Okay. So then the second one the next thing that we are going to be doing, which is going to be your second to last service. It's the last service that you have to perform anything with, and that is the nail enhancement with a form service. So the nail enhancement with a form service. So like I was talking about earlier, they want everything to be completely, came on at noon, I'll just listen. Yeah, so some Cosmos chose to do the 11 to 12 hour, and then some Cosmos are going to do the 12-to-1 hour. Whichever one just kind of worked out for you was what was going to happen. Oof. That coffee is real cold, y'all. So, in the form service, you guys, all you have to do is build out a nail, buff it, file it, and such, and then you're pretty much good to go. So my biggest suggestion to cut down on time for you guys is to make sure that you are very comfortable with performing a forms tip service. So then that way, you guys, you don't end up with just this clump on your nail, and then you have to file and file and buff and buff and buff and wait and wait and wait for your nail. So to cut down on time, make sure that you have practice with forms. You are rather experienced with how they handle, what can go on with them and such, and all of that. So in my bag here, I just have the nail enhancement with form service. I have all of my powder. I have my liquids. I have my files. I have my dehydrator. I've got it all up in here. So the biggest thing is the dehydrator, you guys. So with the dehydrator, since it's already a plastic mannequin hand, there's really no need to do the dehydrating. However, I do like to have you guys bring the dehydrator just so you can go through the motions of everything. So then that way you understand and you're able to be comfortable with how it all goes through. And then that way, plus you're showing all of your proctors and such, hey, look guys, I really know what I'm doing. I know how to, I know how to build out everything and how to properly, how to properly care for my client in the everyday to day manner. So, like I said, here is everything. You already have your bag out onto the table with everything within the bag all set up and everything. And this is going to be after your tip service. So one of the things that I want you guys to be aware of is you have to listen to what your proctor is saying in the beginning. So your proctor may ask you to turn the mannequin hand the opposite way to let you know you're done, so then that way you can be graded. Your proctor may also just have you raise your hand whenever you're done. Your proctor may have you just stand behind the table whenever you're done. So it's very important that you pay attention to what the proctor is asking of you guys when they are grading, because that's going to be the biggest thing. For those Cosmos of you that are listening right now, your proctor is going to tell you where to stand, what you need to be doing to be graded in each section of the exam. So very important to make sure that you are listening with listening ears for everything. Alrighty, so to get started, I will already have my bag out onto the table because they're going to come over and they're going to look at it and they're going to double check that everything is correct on there. And that I don't have anything that I shouldn't have, and I don't have any like already pre-built nails in here and such, you know, all that jazz. So you guys, you will get 22 minutes to perform your nail enhancement service. So when you think about it, 22 minutes, yeah, it's kind of a long time to do one nail, but it's one nail on a form. So that's what you have to be very mindful of. Please apply a nail enhancement with a form on to one finger. You have 22 minutes to complete this section. You will be informed when you have 11 minutes remaining. So 11 minutes remaining for you guys. So I go there, I've got my bag and everything, and they say you may begin. I'm going to begin by sanitizing my hands, 15th millionth time, but as if they're seeing it, it's a brand new client. So you need to be following the same standard precautions for every client. Then I'm going to spray my table with my EPA. I'm going into my bag that has all of my paper towels in it and everything. I'm going to be wiping down all of my stuff. And disposing in the trash can, and then sanitizing one more time because I touched my trash bag. Sanitize. I always say to make eye contact with the proctor when you're sanitizing, but now that there's going to be so few people in there, I don't know that I would do that. So I'm going to go into my bag and I'm going to remove all of my implements. So I don't want to start setting up quite yet. I'm just going to go ahead and remove everything. I have a file. So this is the odorless liquid I like to use. It's the Tammy Taylor formula. Now, the only downfall to using odorless is that it does take quite some time to dry. Like, quite some time to dry. So, keep that in mind when you're building it all out. I have my brush. I have my buffing block. I got 2 forms just in case something happens. The dehydrator and my 2 Dappen dishes. So I don't really need this bag anymore. I'm going to go ahead and discard over here since I touched the trash can again. sanitize. Now, if you don't touch the trash can with your fingers and like you just kind of set something in there, you'll be perfectly fine. But if you like stick your hand down into the trash bag, sanitize. Sanitize, sanitize, sanitize. You cannot sanitize your hands enough during this. So let's go ahead and get everything set up. I have my paper towels. Oh, I guess I only put one in here. Oh well, because I'm going to use this one for my discard. So I've got my buffing block, I've got my nail file, I have my forms, my Dappen dishes. Now, you guys, you could just bring one Dappen dish to your board exam. However, I suggest bringing two because as much as you continue to go in, I wouldn't want you guys to get docked for this being non-sanitary. So I always say for you guys to bring two Dappen dishes, so one can go for your monomer and one can go for your polymer, and you can just play it safe. Do they provide you with the hand, or do you have to bring that too? Yes, you do have to bring the hand too. They do not provide you with a hand. No hand at all. Alrighty. So I am going to go ahead to cut on time. I'm going to go ahead and pour into my Dappen dishes. So since this is only for one nail, I don't need a whole lot. I'd rather have to go and pour a little bit more than to get than to have too much, because remember, you have to discard it all. So I'm gonna pour my powder over my lid, so whatever doesn't make it into my dish, I'm able to pour back into my container. So here we go. You have to use odorless, unfortunately. Yes, even Cosmos, you guys have to use odorless too. But you guys are doing from a tip application, so you can buy it on Amazon. Yes, I would not suggest buying this hand for board. However, do not buy this one for board because the fingers do come off and the nail blades do completely snap off. So it does make it convenient for practicing purposes. However, this one, it's not a sturdy hand for you guys to want to bring with you. Alrighty, so I have my hand. I'm getting everything to my liking. And I'm going to go ahead and go in and rough up my nail. If I can even get this open. Shoot. Discard. I accidentally touched my trash bag, so I'm going to go ahead and sanitize again, just to be on the safe side. Because for all I know, you guys, they could be looking at me and they saw that I touched trash bag and it came in contact with my hand, but I didn't sanitize, so just be safe. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get rid of this shine on here real quick. So on this service, you're going to want to move a little bit faster because what you have to remember is you have to account for the drying time. Now, you guys, there are clocks in the building, so if you pay attention to what time they say for you guys to start, you'll be able to watch everything. So getting rid of all of this shine, because if I just put this acrylic on here, it's not really going to hold up. It's just going to kind of slide off, especially on these mannequin hands. So maybe I need to file the nail down a little bit. Alrighty, so I've removed all of the shine on here. odorless can take 5 to 7 minutes dry. Yeah, no, it's no joke with odorless. So here are our forms. Now, like I was saying earlier, these are not my favorite forms to use. They're a little bit hard. And plus, the biggest thing is you do not have human flesh that you are attaching this form to. It is a plastic hand, a plastic hand. So, you know, having to get this thing stick and stay in place is going to be a little bit harder. So I like to bend my tip a little bit, so then that way I can make sure that I get a nice, smooth build out on here. And I'm going to go up underneath, making sure everything is good. Now, I like to just pinch mine down at the bottom a little bit. That's just me. However, with these, they come off all of the time. So if you do like to have that little pinched bottom down there, make sure that you're keeping the nail all in good standing. And there you guys. See, it's still coming off. It's still coming off. Super sticky forms would be the best to take, yes. And these are not super sticky forms. I mean, look at how far up this form goes into the actual nail. So definitely this is not the greatest one for you guys to be doing. So I'm going to slide down a little bit on this, so then that way I have more of a free edge to build out onto. So if it comes undone, it comes undone. No big deal there, guys. Just going to leave be for now. So since I'm scratching my head, I'm going to go ahead and sanitize again, because sanitation, sanitation, sanitation. There goes my nail form again. So you see, there's not really anything to like stick this actual form onto. You know, on the human skin, the form will stick to your skin. On these, it's just plastic and it's not great. So I'm going to hold the form from back here. I can trust that I can build out onto this nail and still be able to keep a nice archway and such, without my form going off too crazy, because pinching it down here is just not working out as great for me. And then plus, this way it stabilizes my form in this finger a lot better, especially since I have to go so far back on this nail bed. Alrighty, getting my brush nice and ready to go. Alrighty, so I have my brush ready to go. I'm going to act like I'm applying just a little bit of dehydrator. Don't really need it. Boom. Woo! Look at that. Closing that back up, putting that off to the side. So now I'm ready to sculpt out. So my suggestion is to always do a 3 beaded application at board, just for the sake of showing that you know how to properly sculpt and build out a nail. So, of course, we want our first application. I'm going to go ahead and build out my tip. So I'm just patting and patting and patting. I'm using clear because that is going to hide all of my imperfections. Smoothing out the side, because remember, I don't want to have to go in and do a whole lot of work on here. So I need a little bit more acrylic on there. I kind of got a small little bead on there. So those of you that like to do one bead and just go with it, this is not my suggestion. I would do 3 beaded application. I know all my Cosmos students out there at the South School know what I'm talking about. So now I'm going to be building on. So you want to make sure that your acrylic layer is thick enough that you're going to be able to file it down, but you don't want it to be bulky. What brand acrylic do you use? I like the C&D one. Honestly, it's my favorite. The clear one is the bomb. Thebomb.com, y'all. I'm trying to keep my form from sliding. It's kind of going all over the place on this nail. Tapping and I'm smoothing, and then I'm going to do one bigger bead. Yeah, so Sally sells like their Sally Secret one, that comes in like a small little kit that you guys can use. I really don't like that one. I feel like it is just like sometimes you get acrylic and it's just like liquid mess, and that one is just liquid mess. That's all it is. So I totally do not recommend the Sally's one. There's like a tapping noise outside of my house. I wonder what is going on. So if you need to do more than a 3 beaded acrylic application, that's perfectly fine too. Must be the squad boys. We have several to practice with. Yeah. It's kind of by trial and error. Some people prefer a different acrylic over other people. It's just kind of your preference. So I'm doing my last final application. I'm patting in to my area, showing that I wouldn't flood the cuticle. I used Mia's Secret, but just bought the Young Nails kit. I hope it's good. I'm going to have to try. So the one thing that building out with clear acrylic is kind of annoying with is, especially on the form, it's rather hard to see how much acrylic you have on here. So just to be safe for me, because I like to always be rather safe than sorry, I'm just going to do one small little bead on here. Again, I do like to look at my nails from the side to see how nice and smooth they are. Make sure I don't need to pat anything down, because sometimes you do. That's just how it is. Then I noticed I left this over here onto the side a little divot. So I'm just going to get me a little ball and pat it around. Alrighty, so while this is on and it is taking forever and ever to dry, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to spray some resin activator to help kind of speed along this process, hopefully so. You know, if not, no worries, guys. Remember, we have plenty of time. So I can already tell my acrylic is drying underneath my form, which is awesome. Let me see if I can pop this off here for you guys. So my acrylic is already drying. I know it's kind of hard to see how far I built it out, but you can kind of see on there that it is built out. I'm just waiting for the acrylic to dry a little bit longer, and then I will pop this form off. However, my finger came off. So here I am with just my form and my plate. So it's not dry yet, and I'm gonna just hold it because I really can't pop this back on there without it just falling off. So do you guys have any questions? Are you guys pretty set on everything? I need practice. I'm good at getting it done, but never did it on anyone. Yeah, no, I totally, it's great to get them done, but you know, having to do them yourself. My roots, man. Yeah. What was everything that I had in my bag? Good question. Ooh. Get all this acrylic out. This would be a good time to clean out your brush. Make sure that you didn't leave any beads of acrylic in there or anything. As well. So what was in my bag for this service? I had my towel. I have my paper towels as well. I had a file just from 100, 180 grit file for everything. To make sure that it was all in there. I had 2 Dappen dishes. I have my powder. I have the liquid. I have a activator, my dehydrator, my brush, and then of course my buffing block as well, and then my forms. So that was everything that was in my bag. So pretty much everything that you think you need for an acrylic service, that is what you'll do. Did you have tips? No, I did not have tips on here. No tips. This is all, so when you have to build out this nail, you have to build out the nail from a form, unfortunately. Yes, I do have a brush in here as well. So yes, you do have to build out from a form on this one. A form. So I removed my form and the shape of the nail, it's pretty nice. I really do like it. It's pretty proportional to the nail. I'm not going to have to do a whole lot of filing and such for it. The brush that I have in school, do we use forms or tips? Either one, it doesn't really matter. The brush I have, this is a craft painting brush. Y'all don't come for me, please. Do not come for me. I bought these. Where did I buy these? I bought them at Walmart. Y'all, 10 out of 10 changed my life because, you know, acrylic brushes are nice and all, but I don't know. Something about this, like, paintbrush. It came in like a pack of 5 or 6. This is like the biggest one that they had in there. I prefer to use a little bit more of a rounded brush rather than a flat brush for building. That's just my personal preference. When you guys are practicing and such, you know, I always suggest getting some brushes, changing it up and seeing what you like and stuff. Because, you know, everybody's going to like something different. I do have one brush. I can't remember the name of it. It is a sable brush. So I do really like it. However, it is rather big. I for the yeah, no, that was my whole thing. Was like having to pay ridiculous amounts of money for these brushes, and I was like, no bueno, not going to happen. So, quite frankly, this $5 acrylic brush, I think to me works a lot better than some of the brushes that I've bought that are $15, $16 and upwards. So, to check and see if my nail is completely dry, I'm going to tap on it. And you see, I'm hearing a nice hollow sound. Almost to if you were tapping on there. Pana brushes from Amazon are good and cost less. Ooh, I'm going to have to try those out. So, if I tap onto my nail, I can hear a nice hollow sound. So that's going to tell me that my nail is nice and dry. So I'm going to go ahead. You want to remove the tacky layer and such, and then you guys are pretty much done. So I'm going to file this down some. The tip I just didn't come out how I wanted it to. So remember, on an acrylic, you can, ooh, look, there goes the whole tip. This is why you don't bring this one to board. So I am going to go ahead, file this all down. Remember, you guys, you can file back and forth if you would like to. I always say it's probably better to get into the habit of doing your single file. So my nail is not very long. It's very proportionate to the nail bed. And I'm just going to go ahead, remove my tacky layer. I've gotten most of my tackiness off. Got to get it over here to the side some. And then I'm going to clean up my front a little bit. Alrighty, you guys. So I'm going to just take my little corner and wipe all away everything so I can show y'all. Here's my nail. I've built the tip off of it. It's just, I didn't extend it off too long. My one critical thing of myself would be is I filed in on the sides just a little bit. I guess that's kind of your personal preference and how you like it. How you like it to be and such just kind of varies and depends for you guys. So once I finish all of that, I can go ahead, I can pick up everything. Now, for the disposal of your liquid and your powder, my suggestion is to just take your paper towels that you were using and just go ahead and pour this all out onto your paper towel. Go ahead and dispose of that into your trash can. And then fold over one more time and dispose of your powder into the trash can as well. Now, I'm not going to pour out my powder because I don't want to waste it all. But like I said, you guys, you're going to have to. You're going to have to waste a little bit of it. But for video purposes, I don't want to have to waste anymore. So I'm going to dispose of everything. It's all going to go into my trash bag. Mine came unzipped from everything. So here's all of that in there. So I've thrown everything into my trash bag. I've cleared my table. I'm going to go ahead and spray my table. Sanitize my hands to reach into my bag. Wipe down. Dispose of everything. Sanitize my hands one last time. And then that's it. Wait to be graded. And that is the overtip service and your form service. So I hope you guys enjoyed all of that. The next thing that you would do after this would be your blood exposure incident on there. If you need to go over that, you can go on over onto the channel. I believe Alana went over it on Wednesday. It might have been Tuesday. On Wednesday or Tuesday. All of that stuff for you guys. So, and then after that, you just have to do your end of exam disinfection, which is spraying down your surface with EPA and a paper towel, disposing of all of your stuff. And then that's it. Then you find out if you've made it. We got the same brush and it got ruined in the same day. Oh, that's sad. No, I bought the acrylic brushes, like the paint brushes, because I was like, let me see how well these like $5 little acrylic brushes are gonna work or whatever. These little paint brushes. Honestly, 10 out of 10. I would recommend. Yes, if you soak it in just like Gracie has shown me so many times, and she's just so much better at it than I am. If you like soak it just a little bit, just so the tip of it can go in there, you're able to just take an orange wood stick and just scrape that acrylic right off. Hopefully you guys can hear me over this freaking trash can. All right, you guys, are there any other questions? Any other questions? Is everyone pretty good to go? We tried to clean it, but it still got ruined. Yeah, some brushes are just like, just kind of have to cut your losses with them. And you live and you learn. It's okay. Awesome. No worries. How many minutes does this take? Like the entire course or just that service alone? Like the entire test or just that one service? Jazzy, we can see about going over the packing and such, but if you rewind the video, whenever it gets posted on there, I go over everything on there. So the overtip service, you have 22 minutes for it. So you get 22 minutes to perform that service. 22 minutes for the form service, and then 12 minutes for the tips. But we can definitely find something about going over the packing, or you're more than welcome to watch this previous one. Yes, Gracie says y'all can go over packing at the school as well, and she will be more than welcome to help you guys. Alrighty, well, if that is everything, if you guys want to go ahead and sign off for final roll call. I hope everybody has a great afternoon. Hopefully you guys have taken something out for dinner tonight. I mean, it's Friday. Maybe it's just pizza night. I don't know. I think that's what we're going to do here. Alrighty, you guys. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful rest of the afternoon. Hopefully this helped you guys understand kind of how it's all going to go, going through the motions of everything. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's like a little bobblehead. Sight. I mean, they could be sight, you know. Alrighty, you guys. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the afternoon. Enjoy your time. Enjoy this nice, beautiful day outside. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.